The problem is I think we're wasting a lot of our bandwidth, like a lot of we only have so many minutes in a day to even use our brains, and our brains can only do but so much in a day anyway. And when we're wasting any of it on just that, it's like I see it in my unprofessional opinion as the world is becoming just a little more in the last decade or two, as the world becomes a little more dreary and dark, and more problems happen, and city streets become more littered, and jobs are like all these kind of problems that we all argue about all the time. As they become more prevalent, it's like the internet and just the visuals of the internet become so much more immersive, and video games are so much more, everything's so much better here. Everything's improving at lightning speed in technology, and it's degrading in society and in the real world. And somehow there's got to be a way to find a balance there. But right now it seems like as technology becomes more immersive and addictive and interactive, like the way these algorithms like feed us exactly what we want, and there's so much psychology and just so much research that goes into making them as addictive as possible. It's like the real world kind of sucks. Like, cities that were beautiful and thriving are now falling apart, like, and have all kinds of problems that are being unaddressed, and lack of leader. It's like there's got to be some kind of way, but so it's easy for us to feel more and more inclined to escape into the digital realm, because the digital realm is becoming more fun while real life is becoming less fun. And there's got to be some kind of way to balance between the two. I'm with you. I'm not against technology at all. I think evil most certainly existed long before there were computers, like, and in even more treacherous ways. Like now we have the ability to do, like I said, we're in a very temporary state right now in 2025 where we have access, where the general public has access to basically all the information there is, and artificial intelligence, and just immense, and the ability that like a guy can just set a bunch of cameras up and start doing podcasts and have just even just the fact that that your platform could be created is like immensely powerful. It probably never existed in world history up until now. But we also still have, the problem is if we just keep going without being careful about losing the real world aspect of it, is that like at some point we're just going to get so lost and so immersed in the space we're not even going to know what we're missing out on. All there's going to be is girls on Instagram. Like all there's going to be is that.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure it all out. I just did a super long podcast with Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, who created Fortnite. He created Unreal Engine, a lot of interesting video games, like revolutionary video games. So I don't know if you know, but Fortnite is this gigantic video game where people go into an online world and they shoot stuff. It's fun. It's not like Call of Duty, intense, militaristic, like raw, real kind of shooting. It's more fun shooting at each other. But at first I was skeptical. Like, is that a good way to hang out with friends? But then I got to do it with people that I'm actually friends with in physical reality.
Yeah,
and you get to hear each other's voice, and you just talk and talk shit about each other together. It's basically a phone call, honestly, with some visuals. It's not about the visuals, it's about the phone call, and it just makes it a little more convenient to connect regularly.
Yeah.
But I think you do need to remember that all of that only works if you're consistently returning to physical reality. In this case, like taking the quote unquote guy trip, not the Brokeback Mountain style, but just friends, just friends, a trip out in nature together, like dudes on a hunting trip, or just fishing, or just hanging out in physical reality together. It's really a fun, like, we should not forget the importance of that.
You talked earlier about loneliness. I think that got brought up at some point, but I do think that's like that's a problem that's caused a lot of our symptoms, is that we are all like very lonely. Even though we all seem to be so well connected digitally, we are all so lonely. You got to think, Modern Warfare 2 was a big thing. I was supposed to be in class of 2010. So you can think like when I was in whatever grade, 8th grade or whatever, Call of Duty was like the thing. I've certainly, like, trust me, I'm not saying that I'm right in this space of digital immersion with anybody else. Like I've been there and seen it and done, but I've wasted who knows how many hundreds of hours on Modern Warfare 2. And like, I really built some great friendships from it. There's a place for all that stuff. It's just like we have this innate responsibility to again, it just goes back to talking about our founding fathers and the way this country was created, and the importance and the importance of what it did for the world. And my understanding is that it was the first time ever that people got together and agreed that, like you said, every man was equal because they were created in the image of God. They had unalienable rights that no government could take away from them. And that's really important. Like there won't be Fortnite if we don't worry about that. And honestly, like just the collapsing in our structure with the mental health with our youth and the suicide rates with our blue collar workers and all these kind of things we've touched and talked about, like those are all just things we just need more time together in real life to fix those problems. Those are just things, like I said, I make the joke, but like there's never been one argument there's never been one dispute with my wife that I've been able to figure out how to fix through a text message, or like it takes being in person with people and like having human connection to fix any problem and heal anything, And so it's difficult. It's like, it's not anybody's fault that we're like that. We're not even able to really get to know each other and understand each other through the internet. Like we almost have to be together in person to even just get each other's point of view and perspectives on things. And,
Yeah, fuck the division that the internet creates. Honestly, like the left and the right it's been kind of a nightmare for me just to watch, because I see the very simple reality that we're in it together and that there's a lot more commonality between people. It seems cliche to say, but it's like now that needs to be said more than ever. Because when you look on X, it feels like everybody's divided, but we're not.
Well, and people are always going to think differently too. Like just in our structure and the way we, again, it's like that. It goes back to that Jordan Peterson lecture about, I think in Maps of Meaning, where he talks about people who think more conservatively or more liberally about things. Like it's been applied to politics, but it's based more in psychology than anything. Like some people are going to think more inside the box and some people are going to think more outside the box, but we have to have both in order to have a healthy society. Like,
oh, and also the thing that bothers me, your song Men North of Richmond, a lot of people, so a pretty even split, people on the left and the right in terms of friends of mine, and sadly they've drifted towards the extremes a bit. Those on the left definitely have developed a case of Trump derangement syndrome. Those on the right seem to think that every person on the left is a kind of radical leftist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like hilarious to listen to people talk. It's like everybody's lost their mind, it feels like. But also on top of that, people on the right see Trump as a savior, as this figure who could do no wrong, who's going to restore freedom in America and all, continue. You can do a full list of really positive things. And to me, he's yet another rich man north of Richmond. Biden, Trump, it's all the same thing. Now, some might be able to do more good than others, but ultimately they're in positions of power and power corrupts. And those in those positions often forget about the everyday person, the working class, and they leave them behind. Ultimately, serve the people that are close to them, and sometimes serve themselves to maintain power, to grow their power. I think the good thing you can say about them is and I could say that about both Donald Trump and Joe Biden, is that they really love their family. I could say that one of the things that I love about both people is that they genuinely love their family. And like, it was always heartwarming to me to see how much Joe Biden loves his family.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, just do anything for his family. And the same is true for Trump. And that just reminds you that they're human beings. And yeah, all that to say is like, we need to see the humanity in each of us. And to some degree, always distrust the people in power.
The power that people have only exists because we allow it, whether willingly or just through our own negligence. But I think that's the important thing is like I said, there's always more of us than there will be of them. There's always more. There's always more nobodies than there ever will be people at the top. And we just have to figure out what to do with that and how to. And I think this is, like I said, a short window of time to where we can still figure that out.
I gotta ask you about something before I forget. I think I saw on Instagram you talked about a three-legged cat. Is that a real thing? What's the story behind the three-legged cat? The reason I want to ask you that, first of all, I want to hear this story. And second of all, I want to read to you one of my favorite Bukowski poems afterwards about another cat. All right, what's the story?
I had this cat lady neighbor who's a real sweet lady, but older lady, lives in a single wide trailer, has probably got, 30 or 40 cats that she feeds at her house.
Nice.
It was a rainy Saturday morning. It was pouring down rain. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. It was going to be a great day. And then I hear this lady yelling, "There's this cat stuck in my car." She's all freaking out and don't know what to do. And like I said, my wife's a veterinary technician or whatever, so she's got a little bit more sense about animals than any of us. But we go over there and the lady tried to start her car, and there's this kitten that was up under the hood, and she started the car, and the cat basically it basically almost ripped its whole front leg off already. There was just a little bit still attached, like some tendon or whatever. But the leg was like wrapped up under the water pump, like the pulley of the water pump.
Yeah.
Knocked the belt off. There was no way to save this leg on this cat. It was like, but the cat was like pinned upside down, and so we ended up grabbing we asked the lady if she had like a knife in the house. So she gave us this like terrible looking knife, but it's all that we had. I was like, we were trying to get this done. So yeah, my wife was the one that did it, but we like got the rest of the stuff cut and got the cat out. And and I don't know, I just like to spend like, I was like over $1,000 we spent getting this cat's like getting it properly sutured or whatever to where the cat could have a healthy recovery and all. But I'm one of those type of people, like I couldn't just let I'm not going to go, they were going to just go put the cat down or whatever. Yeah. The lady, So yeah, I named her Hop. So that's my little cat, and it hops around. But it was one of those things where, yeah, I don't know. Great example with animals. I guess it's the same way with people. I just always see the best, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most amazing things about humans. It's irrational to spend that much money on this cat, right? Because there's so many other cats that are suffering and dying and so on. But that's what makes humans really special. We see that the person or the creature suffering in front of us, and we're willing to move mountains to save that person. Like, yeah. It's irrational. Maybe it doesn't make sense because the allocation of money and effort might not be correct, whatever. We just don't give a shit.
The reason that we're willing to do it for a cat, like I said, it's just like the thing with the dogs about giving the dogs your medication, but not yourself. So we see all the flaws and all the problems and all the disagreements and all the anger we have with each other, just like you said, your friends on the right and the left and stuff. And like, we could show that kind of compassion, and we do. I mean, humanity does from time to time show that kind of compassion, but we could show that kind of like just undeserved, just love, mm-hmm. to each other too. Like, and love is like, it's funny, you talked about how both of those presidents, you could say they at least love their family, but love is like, I think everyone's capable of love. It's probably the most powerful thing there is, even beyond hate, I think is love, but it is crazy with animals. It's it comes out of us so easily with animals because to us, they're just these innocent little lives. We don't have anything against them, mm-hmm. Like they don't talk. They don't have political views. They're just little creatures. But the reality is we're all just creatures like that,
We do that with human children.
Yeah.
But we don't do it enough with adults who are also kinds of children. We're still fucking lost in this world. So I gotta read you this. Nice. It's gotta be one of my favorite poems. It's called "The History of One Tough Motherfucker" by Charles Bukowski. And people should go look at videos. Well, there's videos of Bukowski doing interviews with a cat by his side, and that's the cat he's talking about. All right, it goes like this. He came to the door one night, wet, thin, beaten, and terrorized. A white, cross-eyed, tailless cat. I took him in and fed him, and he stayed. Grew to trust me, until a friend drove up the driveway and ran him over. I took what was left to a vet who said, "Not much chance. Give him these pills, his backbone is crushed." But it was crushed before, and somehow mended. If he lives, he'll never walk. Look at these x-rays. He's been shot. Look here, the pellets are still there. Also, he once had a tail. Somebody cut it off. I took the cat back. It was a hot summer, one of the hottest in decades. I put him on the bathroom floor, gave him water and pills. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't touch the water. I dipped my finger into it and wet his mouth, and I talked to him. I didn't go anywhere. I put in a lot of bathroom time and talked to him, and gently touched him, and he looked back at me with those pale blue crossed eyes. And as the days went by, he made his first move, dragging himself forward by his front legs. The rear ones wouldn't work. He made it to the litter box, crawled over and in. It was like the trumpet of possible victory blowing in that bathroom and into the city. I related to that cat. I had it bad, not that bad, but bad enough. One morning he got up, stood up, fell back down, and just looked at me. "You can make it," I said to him. He kept trying, getting up, falling down. Finally, he walked a few steps. He was like a drunk. The rear legs just didn't want to do it, and he fell again, rested, then got up. You know the rest. Now he's better than ever. Cross-eyed, almost toothless, but the grace is back. And that look in his eyes never left. And now sometimes I'm interviewed. They want to hear about life and literature, and I get drunk and hold up my cross-eyed shot, run over a detailed cat, and I say, look at this. But they don't understand. They say something like, you say you've been influenced by Celine. No. I hold the cat up, influenced by what happens, by things like this, by this, by this. I shake the cat, hold him up in the smoky and drunken light. He's relaxed. He knows. It's then that the interviews end. Although I am proud sometimes when I see the pictures later, and there I am, and there's the cat, and we are photographed together. He too knows it's bullshit, but that somehow it all helps. So, when you posted about
I love that.
the three-legged cat, there you go. And I think of your music and your life story in the same way. It's just been through some shit, just like Bukowski. Neither of you two have been through what that cat's been through, but that's kind of life. That's what it's all about. I was wondering if you could play a couple songs.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Do you want to take a break or no?
No, I'm good. We might have to take a break just for me to get this figured out. But
Break real quick.
of course, yeah.
Where is the guitar? Like where? No, like positionally.
I think this will be fine.
Oh, so ghetto.
Call Draven and be like, "Who?" Well, I guess I'll do. If I was going to do anything on here from the older songs that was relatable to everything we've talked about, it'd probably be "I Want to Go Home."
Sounds good.
If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'Cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more, and I ain't saying I know it for sure. I'm just down on my knees, begging the Lord, take me home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. People have really gone and lost their way. They all just do what the TV say. I wanna go home. For generations farming the ground, grandson sells it to a man out of town. And 2 weeks and later, the trees go down. Only got concrete growing around. And I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some kind of bill to pay. People just doing what the rich man say. I wanna go home. If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward.
That's probably one of the first. I don't know. It's not the first song I wrote, but one of them.
What a song, man. What a song. What a song. What's the story to that guitar?
Well, the guy who made this like saved my butt because everything blew up and I was playing that little Gretsch resonator that's in all the original videos.
Yeah.
And my wife had got me that off of Amazon, I think, or something for like $300 or $400. It's like just an entry level, like import little Gretsch. And the pickup never would work right in it. So this string wouldn't work when you plugged it in.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, everything happens all at once and we're trying to do these shows and like, you know, I think the biggest one I did. So basically what I ended up having to do was I bought one of these suction cup rigs that sticks right here and the mic goes down under here to pick that string up. And I played like, I think the biggest show I did with it was like 10,000 people, but it was enough to where I couldn't be doing a $300 guitar with a rigged up thing on it anymore. It just wasn't going to work. So this guy reached out and, Gretsch wouldn't help me with my Gret. Like, you know, there's no way to really get a hold of them because they're such a big company. I finally did get a hold of Diane Gretsch and she's like really nice. And so it's nothing personal against Gretsch. It's just at the time I couldn't get a hold of them. I figured I would have been able to because like everywhere sold out of that Gretsch model when the song blew up, you know, like it was a real pop, but I couldn't get a hold of them. So this guy, Beard Guitar, Paul Beard in Maryland, he reached out, fixed my Gretsch and then gave me one of these and made it with but it's all handmade and all. It's like, yeah, you can like whack somebody over the head with it pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice and heavy.
But yeah, he makes them all by hand.
Nice.
Little family owned place. And
I know nothing about resonated guitars. Is that like, you play regular acoustic?
Yeah, it's just basically a regular acoustic. It's just a full step down. It's the only difference. I just got it tuned all the way down.
Is that it? Because there's also like this whole vibe to it.
Oh yeah, well the body's different. So you can see it's got like a solid, you know, instead of it being a hollow body like an acoustic, it's got that. It almost looks like a hubcap, that black.
And like
plate.
all the chord, that's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
it's just the same. Yeah, I wouldn't be smart enough to play anything special. Like it's just a regular old guitar.
I don't know. There's a different vibe to it.
Yeah, well,
It's
I like that.
Cooler.
Well, I'm real fond of like the older music, like so like where all my family's from. So my dad was adopted, so I don't have any like Lunsford's not really even a real last name to me. They're all it was just my grandparents that adopted my dad. So all of my family's Ingle is like Ingle. That's like that's all my mom's side of my family. And they're all from this place about 20 miles from where like the Carter family was from. Mm-hmm. So all that old Virginia, like kind of bluegrass folk music and stuff. And so I was just always attracted to that. And so I like the resonator a full step down because to me it kind of gives it that old sound. Like you know, a lot of the instruments back then had like bad dull strings and they were older and they were out of tune a little bit and stuff. And I listened to a lot of that type of music. So I like the strings being a little out of tune and dull and not everything. And just that, yeah, that's why I was so attracted to it. Plus like some of the old blues players, like, you know, playing the dobro and stuff. But that's why I wanted to get the resonator, was just because of that old. I mean, that's even why, like, you know, I had to use my grandpa's name as an alias, but that Oliver Anthony music is really supposed to represent like old music from like 1930s Virginia or something, like, you know, like it's kind of got that type of feel to it, or at least in its core, you know.
It feels like from another time, but it also feels timeless.
It's also that my music catalog is so limited, like of what I listen to, that a lot of what's in my head, like, as you think about when you're writing songs and like coming up with chord progressions and stuff, whether you realize it or not, it's all being influenced off of other songs. So when you only have a lot of older music and like a little bit of metal and stuff in there, it's like there's not really a whole lot. It's like that, you know. It's kind of going to sound that way, I guess, just anyway, because that's what's in your head already. But
so you're gonna go out there a little bit this year. What are some things you're looking forward to? You're gonna travel a bit. You're gonna play a bit.
The idea is to go to a town, like, let's just use Iowa as an example. Instead of the big city in Iowa playing at the venue where everybody books, let's find a farm field 45 minutes outside of that big city, figure out the ingress, egress, the security, find a good promoter that can, like a show organizer basically, that has experience to where it's still professional and it's done correctly, but establish like a new venue space that can't be put under contract by a monopoly, that any artist can go play, like, without like if all these musicians are sick of Ticketmaster and Live Nation, then let's just start playing in fields and on main streets and set these venues up and establish them correctly and professionally to where they exist as their own space. And then imagine the economic impact that would provide to a town that otherwise would never have, like, and imagine what you want to talk about trying to give blue collar people like some hope or give them some relatability or do anything for them, like bring a big band to their town that they would otherwise have to drive an hour and a half somewhere to see and couldn't even afford the tickets to start with. Like my tour last year, pretty much every show we did that was mine had a $25 ticket option, and everybody scoffed at that. And I was basically like made fun of for that by people in the professional space, even people I was working with. They just thought it was so stupid. But you know what? There were people at my shows that came up and the kids were wearing hand-me-down clothes and like you could tell they didn't have any money, and they said it meant a lot to them that they could come and that there was a $25 option. And so, and I'll continue to do these shows like this to where any band that wants to come play the show, all their expenses are covered. And I'm sure there's some kind of tax write-off component to them for them, but basically they can come in, do the show, help bring in a crowd. Like I'm taking the risk setting the venue up and establishing it. The venue will be owned or managed by either the town or the farm or whatever, but it'll be in a nonprofit. And then that space will always exist for people to rent. And the idea is it's like, man, imagine if I could do 20 of these a year, even if that's all I can get done. Like that's 20 places that will always have music and will always have a center where people can go, like, and build this sense of community we talked about. Like it's almost like a sanctuary, if you want to call it that, but it's just a space that can't be perverted by corporate America, and just a place where people can go and like do all these things that we want to do. What are you excited for this year? Obviously you're going to travel overseas, and sounds like you got some other cool stuff you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to see some world leaders, hopefully not end up in prison anywhere. Part of that, honestly, I'm excited, like India, to see the same humans, but in very different parts of the world. I'm not a travel guy, but I love seeing humans, that there's like a lot of us humans all over the place, and they're very different, and they have funny accents and just funny way of being, So I'm excited to take it all in because I fundamentally love people. Yeah,
man. Like I would definitely say if you're ever over towards Virginia or West Virginia, either one there, like, yeah, it'd be cool to spend a couple days out in the woods or a day out in the woods and do. I'm really new to the whole psilocybin thing, but I have tried a few smaller doses of it actually to help with being up on stage and all. And it's an interesting thing, but
it's great.
Yeah, definitely the dogs and the woods part. I got you on that.
I would love to join in. I mean, I've taken mushrooms a few times, and listen, I usually just love everything anyway, but with mushrooms, you just love it a little bit more, like, especially out in nature. When I look out in nature, I'm just in awe of how incredibly beautiful it is. And just I could stare at a tree for hours. And then you take mushrooms and like that tree starts like having some more dynamism to it. So it's just a little boost, but like,
yeah,
I don't really
get
care.
into this crazy. Like I said, it's only been a handful of times because I don't know. It's one of those things where it's still a little unfamiliar to me, but like talking about trees and psilocybin, you start to look in those trees and you think like, in their relative perspective of time, because they're constantly moving around and growing and doing all these things. And you think about like in their perspective, maybe we're just moving way faster than their perception, and they're moving at just a normal speed. It's just, you get into all these crazy trains of thought when you sit out in the woods on that stuff, but
100%, man. I mean, like maybe that's the history of life. I mean, humans will have some chance of destroying 99% of the population with nuclear weapons, and the trees will remain, and they will reconstruct the environment of Earth and help the few humans that remain to survive. And it'll be the fucking trees that we'd be grateful for. Their actual deep, ancient wisdom. So maybe they're the intelligent ones. Maybe we're the idiots.
When you're out in nature like that and just just looking at and studying the way all those systems work with soil and trees and animals and how it all just integrates in together so perfectly, it does give you some sense of peace that maybe there is some system at place that's out of our hands that can just help us with our faults and our repercussions. And again, like for me, just I think just being out there, especially now looking at it through the lens of God, of God, it helps. I've found no greater peace than just being out in the woods and praying, or just trying to focus my mind on that. But yeah, I would love for you to come up there sometime. And
I'm 100% will. I visit. See, like feeling peaceful out in Virginia in the woods is easy. Try doing it in the Amazon jungle when a giant ant crawls and just bites you.
Dude, I would do anything to go to the Amazon.
And all the peace is gone. You're like, motherfucker, what do you do? And then like a second one joins in, kills the first one and bites you again. And then you're like, okay, nature is not all.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, there is harmony to it, but part of the harmony is the violence.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. It's sex and violence.
Like, I guess that's the thing about it, though, is like it has all the same components of humanity, just almost, like almost to a comical level.
I mean, the real comedy is the monkeys up in the trees. It's like little humans, and they're arguing, screaming at each other, throwing stuff, they're getting into fights. It's like reality TV, but like more pure, more real, more distilled down to its fundamentals. Like we are that,
Yeah.
We put on clothes these days and have fancy words that we say to each other and look all sexy on Instagram, but we're the same. Monkeys, apes.
It's like the old lobsters, but it really is true.
Yeah.
We all, yeah, we're all on that same operating system in a way.
Brother, this was a huge honor. I don't have the words to describe how incredible this was. And I think, it was just fun. It was really fun talking to you.
Total honor to be able to come on here for me as well. And, especially just to get to meet you in real life and see like, you are what I expected you to be, like in a good way. Like, you just don't ever like, you're a good dude. So I appreciate what you're doing.
I got to show you the sex dungeon downstairs.
Nice.
Where
Heck yeah.
where I keep sex slaves. It's very different. No. Yeah, man. All right. Time to wake up. Let's go back to reality. Thanks for listening to this conversation with Oliver Anthony. To support this podcast, please check out our sponsors in the description. And now, let me leave you with some words from George Orwell. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you next time.